is the marine styrofoam drawing I've been working on over the past week or so, although I didn't really work considerably on it until the past couple of days. I've gotten most of it done, but I'll finish it either today or early tomorrow. I worked on it quite a bit in the morning before I fell asleep around 1 to 2 p.m. I'm leaning towards 2 p.m. Set an alarm for 6 p.m. Woke up around 5:30 p.m. So I got enough sleep to hopefully last me until a reasonable time to go to bed. I initially considered putting some yellow text, "The few, the proud," on the back of this jacket, but I figure for something like this, me and Dad believe it's best to be as realistic as possible. For the most part, I just have some of the front of the jacket to do, of which there'll be ribbons and medals, and the hat to do. I believe Dad picked me up sometime around 6:30 p.m. We brought along with us the leftover chicken wings, and at least some of the leftover pizza from Mark's Pizzeria. Dad got this pasta dish from Salvatore's. Although while heating this up, Dad put some of my man crates. He put on some of my man crate spices that I got for Christmas. I had some coffee somewhere between 8 and 9 in the morning, and I also had some from now. It's currently 10:01 p.m. I believe I started having some maybe around 7. I would have wanted to finish the marine today before Dad picked me up. I've been having this coffee since about 7 p.m. I've had roughly 3 cups since then, and it's currently 10 p.m., so about 1 cup an hour. I primarily drink coffee plain for the taste. Dad went to Aldi's today, and these cookies and this low-fat chocolate milk are just some of the things that I assume he got today. Dad got these cookies from Aldi's, and not the Girl Scouts. Even though they look exactly like samosas. A brand called Benton's make these cookies. Although I think Dad said that the Girl Scouts version is bigger than these. Or something along to that effect. He said, not as big. Just now, when he went to give me these cookies. Just about every day, I've made at least some effort to develop the halflings settlement, as I need to in order to be able to activate many of the research technologies of this halflings chapter I'm currently in. And now that I think about it, maybe it was around 6:45 p.m. when Dad picked me up, since or maybe it was around 6:30 p.m. It was around 7 p.m. sometime after I arrived at Dad's place, that I had some leftover Carolina Gold chicken wings. All of the order of 20 are Carolina Gold. That's how I designed it. Yeah, I spent 1,000 diamonds in order to upgrade the builder's hut. I believe I did that so I could upgrade this steel manufactory and complete an earlier task set. This chocolate milk is pretty good. I believe Dad also got some pineapple juice from Aldi's today. It was around 1 p.m. when I had what I assume was the last packet of chicken flavor instant ramen noodles from the pantry / cupboard. I'm not entirely sure what it's called. It's like a closet, only for food instead of clothes, would be my best way of describing it. I mixed in just some fiery puri spice. The medium spice level of the man crate spices that I got for Christmas. Into the finished chicken flavored chicken broth instant ramen. I pour in 3 cups of water to soak the noodles. Then I mix in the chicken flavoring, which turns the water into a sort of chicken broth. The powder itself tastes good. There's bits here and there that, in a way, kind of ended up being left behind after I shook powder into the water as I mixed with a fork. The same fork I used to twist and eat the noodles. Though I ended up having, when I ran out of noodles and there was more broth than noodles, I brought it up to my room because the broth was hot temperature-wise, just a little Scoville-wise. And I, in a way, thought about getting back to... by that point, I was thinking of continuing to work on that marine styrofoam drawing. I, for the most part, did all of the back except the pants and shoes. By the start of today, I had already had those parts finished. What I did during the evening hours was this part to this part. This is exactly how the back of the marine cap is, except having to use some kind of light shade of gray in order to show the depth, since it doesn't look like a baseball cap. It's a hat that kind of comes out in a way as you reach the top. Is my way of describing it. Throughout the morning and evening hours, I did stuff like these pockets, the collar. Although first I did the arms pretty much. I think I did the arms from the early morning hours to maybe about 10 a.m. And then I think during that time, I also did the face, and then later I did the ears and colored that in. I think I'm getting better at doing hands and ears. And from here on out, I'll try to include them, if applicable, with every styrofoam drawing. I chose to sleep around 2 p.m. because I think by noon or 1 p.m., I was reaching a point where I would do something relatively difficult. That being deciding which ribbons and medals to put on the upper front of the jacket, and then finding the necessary Sharpie marker colors to make those patterns, and then having to do the detailing for the hat, and then most likely using a brown Sharpie marker in order to do detailing for the gold belt buckle, gold buttons, and other gold stuff. It was around, I think, 7 in the morning. 7:15 in the morning. Now that I think about it, I think that's when I had that morning cup of coffee. It was right before she went to work teaching nursing. She told me about a Cornhill festival but a sort of opportunity to apply to be part of one business that would be represented with a booth there, be part of their emerging artists expo. Mom told me about it, and then I looked it up on Facebook. I tend not to go on Facebook much these days. And when Mom told me about it, I believe I pretty much immediately decided that I was going to apply to be part of, I believe, it's MVP Health's Emerging Artists Expo. You're supposed to be between the ages of 18 and 23, which I am. The application was very easy for me to fill out. It was an online form powered by JotForm. which I initially thought was like Squarespace or Wix. Like a service you can use to make your own website. But no, it turns out Jotform is a service where you can make online forms. It took me less than a minute to fill out everything that was required because for many of the questions they were simple answers, basically basic information about me, that my laptop and browser auto-completes for me as I type in using the combination of my mouse, this here, and my laptop's touch keyboard, which is basically how I usually type things these days. Since a few of the keys on my keyboard are unresponsive. These are the Styrofoam drawings that I decided to submit to the jury for consideration because they're within reach for me to display at the Emerging Artists Expo, and they're some of my best Styrofoam drawing works. Based off how I feel. They're among my most detailed Styrofoam drawings. Excuse me. Submitting that application came with an application fee of $50. I think I recall they called it something else, but it's basically an application fee. I followed an outside link after finding the post on Cornhill Festival's Facebook page regarding the post that Mom was talking about. And I verified that with her beforehand. And she said that that's what she saw. For the $50 application fee, Mom had me use the same credit card that I used during my study abroad trip to Italy and Greece. And the payment was made through G or Google Pay. Hopefully my application is accepted. I've practiced considerably for a moment like this. Not necessarily with a moment like this in mind, but more in mind thinking about making the best doing the best work possible, essentially. At times listening to motivating music on YouTube like I did for today's work on the marine styrofoam drawing. It was around 6:30 p.m. when Dad came to get me. He called me on the phone to let me know he was coming back from the Aldi's near our place at Mom's. Yeah, he said he would be there in 5 to 10 minutes, but he got there in more like 2 minutes, so I was still packing and getting ready by the time he alerted his presence to me. I don't pack too much, but still had to bring some stuff. Such as a fabric bag with a whole bunch of Sharpie markers on the bottom and extra clothes on the top. As well as a plastic bag without handles that held the marine styrofoam drawing on the top and essentially the Sharpie markers I used to work on it over these past days on the bottom. It was around roughly 6:15 p.m. when Mom started making the potato skins from the TGI Fridays brand that we got from Walgreens a while back. And they just finished cooking pretty much as Dad arrived at Mom's place. As such, it was at around 7 p.m. when I had some of the leftover chicken wings and a majority of the potato skins that were in that package of frozen potato skins that we got from Walgreens. And ever since then, I've been working on the marine styrofoam drawing for the most part. I did a Duolingo Spanish lesson in the early afternoon due to concerns of potentially basically sleeping past midnight and breaking my streak of completing at least one lesson a day, which takes just a handful of minutes at the most on Duolingo. And all of these lessons are for the Spanish language, or La Itoma de Español.